I'm Bongchan. Lactans Malangs, thank you so much for choosing my beginner guitar course. Today we'll learn lesson 5, a packed into no 6-string tablature. The most common way to notate acoustic guitar music is with 6-string tablature and number notation. 6-string tablature shows which notes you need to play, but it doesn't clearly tell you what notes you are actually playing. Commenting 6-string tablature with a number notation not only shows you the fingerings, but also tells you what notes you are playing. A precise guitar lead sheet should include not only chord symbols, but also the common mute symbols. X. If a guitar lead sheet is made up entirely of numbers, our first thought would be that the sheet is not quite a standard guitar lead sheet, but more of an informal or non-standard notation. What exactly is standard, and what counts as non-standard? Let's look at 2 examples to tell the difference. What we're looking at now, the little green song, is a standard guitar lead sheet. Besides the number notation, there are lyrics. There are chord diagrams too, and right-hand picking patterns, and the right-hand picking marks, all marked with an X symbol. You might not understand it right now, but actually, this kind of tablature is the standard and most formal. Let's look at the same song. Both at a non-standard version, what you are seeing now is still from Bellabunch. It's still these 2 parts, but if we check the others, here is not much difference. The only difference is the mute symbols X are gone from this tablature, replaced by numbers instead. But these numbers don't really mean much. These numbers show the chords pressed by the left hand. So this kind of notation is a non-standard 6-string tablature. If this tablature shows broken chords like this, it's a bit easier to follow, even if it's not standard. You can also play it when we start strumming. This irregular tablature can look really messy, and you won't know where to begin. This can mislead beginners a lot. So when you pick a guitar song to play, make sure to use standard guitar lead sheets. Say, here is an even more irregular kind, which doesn't even include number notation, just chords and lyrics, which is even less suitable for beginners. Many paid textbooks use sheet music with non-standard guitar notation. There are 2 reasons for this. The first reason is the book's teacher, who can't use software or lacks a professional transcriber, so they can't create standard guitar lead sheets. They have no choice but to use software like INT Pro, using these non-standard programs to make guitar tabs. Another case is when the teacher has no sense of what's standard or not. If you are an educator, you have to give students the right guidance. Let's look again at the strumming pattern. This is the standard strumming pattern. You'll notice arrows on top. The up and down arrows are clear at a glance. Here is the guitar tablature. If you can read guitar tablature, you'll find every marking clear and easy to understand. Now let's look at the same strumming pattern, but this time an unstandardized one. This is from page 27 of our book. On the unstandardized one, besides the arrows, there are some scattered numbers too. It was actually very simple, just a basic strumming pattern, but shown in non-standard tabs. It looks complicated and confusing. That's why it can mislead beginners. So we shouldn't often play these non-standard tabs. Because nowadays, whether online or in the books we buy, a lot of the tabs aren't standard. That's why for this course, once I finished all the lessons and added over 100 pop songs with chords and lyrics, all the tablatures are arranged and written by me. This way, after finishing the course, you'll have plenty of songs to practice. Now that we know the difference between standard and non-standard guitar tabs, let's officially get to know the guitar. Let's look at this image. Here, you see 6 horizontal lines. They represent the 6 strings of the guitar, as marked in the video. The first string is the thinnest, the 6th string is the thickest. This is how our guitar stands upright. You can see it lines up exactly with the strings. It corresponds to 6 string tablature. Now, in this 6-string tablature, you'll see some numbers, 0, 3, and 2. Let's start with the 0 marked on the 6th string. That means plucking the open 6th string with your right hand. The 3 is marked on the 5th string. This means pressing the 3rd fret on the 5th string with your left hand, then plucking it with your right. The 2 is on the 4th string. This means pressing the second fret on the fourth string with your left hand and plucking it with your right. The last 0 is on the third string, which means pluck the open third string. That's simple. Just remember, 0 means open string. Numbers mean frets. The number's position shows which string to pluck with your right hand. Some might wonder why. Here is both a 3 and a 2. We know the left hand presses the right fret. But which finger should we use? Is there a marking? There isn't one in this tab. Some tabs use numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 to show which finger to use on each fret. If not, you'll have to choose your own fingering. Larry fingering is important too. Fingering means assigning fingers to play a melody or piece using the most proper fingering. We'll cover this in the whole course. Hold on, everyone. The main goal of this lesson is to get to know 6th string tablature. Hooray! Let's continue. We just saw how the right hand strums and the left hand presses. Another important part of 6th string tablature is the chord diagram. They're the small boxes you see in guitar tabs, like what you see on the screen. This is a standard chord diagram. Now let's take a closer look at this chord diagram. First, let's look at the letter C. It's the name of the chord. In other words, this shows the chord name. Let's take another look. Counting the lines on this chord diagram, you'll see 6 lines too. These 6 lines stand for the guitar strings. See the one we marked on the far right? That's the first string, and the far left line is the 6th. It shows the first 3 frets on a guitar facing you. That's what a chord diagram looks like. Now look, here is an X above the 6th string. That X means the string shouldn't sound. In other words, don't play that string. The 6 vertical lines stand for the 6 guitar strings. If we turn the horizontal lines vertical, there are actually 3 frets. We saw this earlier from the comparison pictures of the guitar. This represents the first 3 frets on the guitar. So the first fret is fret 1. The second fret is fret 2. The third fret is fret 3. Now that we understand the vertical and horizontal lines, and meaning of the letters, and the meaning of the mute symbol, X, we notice T. Here is also a circle on the first and third strings. This circle indicates a chord note. Rare bev, put harm, you can ignore this circle. It means the string is playable. Then we have these numbers, 1, 2, and 3. Inside this chord box are the numbers, 1, 2, and 3. What do these numbers mean? It's the horizontal right-hand tablature we just mentioned. The numbers indicate the frets. I am repeating this so nobody gets confused. The horizontal one is the right-hand tablature. Those numbers show the frets 1, 2, and 3. On our chart 5, this is the chord chart. The numbers in the chord chart show the notation for our left hand. Numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 are our left-hand fingers. So what are the labels for our left-hand fingers? From this picture, we can see the thumb on our left hand is marked as T. The index finger on our left hand is marked as 1. The middle finger is marked as 2. The ring finger is marked as 3. And the little finger is marked as 4. So, from thumb to little finger on our left hand, it's T1, 2, 3, 4. We have to remember this. T. Here is a picture and labels on page 29 of the book. Now, let's go back to the C chord diagram. Now we can see the numbers 1, 2, and 3 on it. Let's start with number 1. Number 1 is marked on the 2nd string. But which fret is it? Take a look. It's the first fret on the 2nd string. That means we use our left hand's first finger, pressed first, fret of 2nd string. As for our left hand's first finger, it's the index finger. So we place our index finger on the first fret of the 2nd string, just like this. Next is number 2, which is marked on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So we place our middle finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. Finally, number 3 is on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. So we place our 3rd finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Our third finger is the ring finger. Once we place these three numbers according to the marks, the chord we're playing is called the C chord. This is how you read a chord diagram. This is basically how you read the diagram on page 29 of the book. We've covered the left-hand finger notations and the right-hand ones. Let's keep in mind by looking at this picture. Our right hand, represented by the letter and index finger, it's represented by I. The middle finger is represented by M. The ring finger is A. The little finger is settle. So, the right hand fingers from thumb to little finger are P, I, M, A, C. Make sure you remember the left and right hand notations clearly. The left hand uses numbers for all fingers except the thumb. The right hand uses letters for all fingers. Don't mix these up. That was the C chord. It's the common open chord. We've also covered. This chord diagram shows the first three frets of the guitar. You might be wondering, how do we mark the fourth and fifth frets? We'll cover that in this lesson. Now let's look at a unique chord. The chord name we see here is F. This means the chord is called the F chord. Which vertical line is the first string, which is the sixth string? You already know. The three horizontal lines represent three frets. You'll get it. The numbers above stand for your left-hand fingers. You know that too. So, can you play this chord from the diagram? I don't think you can. See, here is an extra arrow on this chord diagram. You can see this arrow pointing from the sixth string to the first. It's marked with a 1. What does this mean? It means you press all 6 strings with your first finger. This is called a baroque chord. If you press down all the strings, you do it like this. Watch how I do it. Press down all 6 strings. Place your index finger like this. It looks like this. When playing this chord, our left thumb must be placed firmly behind the neck. If it's placed too high on the neck, your fingers won't stretch properly. It will look like this. So pressing your fingers down covers all 6 strings. Of course, this chord is pretty tough for beginner guitar players. It takes a few days of practice to get used to. So this lesson is just to get familiar with how these chords are marked. The main goal isn't to play them yet. Okay. Once you press down all 6 strings, you've completed the first step. See, here is also a number 2. It's marked on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So use your left hand middle finger to press the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. Put it down like that, and step 2 is done. Next we have the number 3. See, this 3 is on the 5th string, 3rd fret. That means using your 3rd finger to press the 5th string. 3rd fret. Our 3rd finger is the ring finger. So press down on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Now, the last note is number 4. It's marked on the 4th string, 3rd fret. That means pressing the 4th string, 3rd fret, with your 4th finger. Okay, so now we form this chord with these fingers. This is called the F chord. Now students who still have questions might ask, what exactly is a chord? But for now, let's not get into chord theory. All I can tell you right now is him. When you see others effortlessly playing guitar and singing, the shapes they form with their left hand are chords. Chords basically provide accompaniment for your song. They're accompaniment chords. For now, let's not worry about how it's made. Of course, we'll cover that in this course. But I'll explain it to you all, step by step later. Once you finish this course, you'll understand how chords are put together. And now let's take another look. Like I said before, right now the first 2 chords are all within the first 3 frets. So what if the chord uses the 5th, 7th, or even higher fret? But the chord diagram only shows 3 frets. As for me, now look at this picture. Look. This chord is just an F chord with a 7 added T. Here is also an arrow with the number 1 right after it. It has fingers 2, 3, and 4. Plus an added 7. What does this 7 mean? Maybe some of you have already guessed. This 7 means it's the 7th fret. So the first box actually represents the 7th fret on the guitar. It's marked to show that. The second box is the 8th fret, and the third is the 9th fret. This should be easy to understand. So adding this number, 7 means you start at the 7th fret. Then, if it says 5, does that mean starting at the 5th fret? Yes, that's right. If the first box isn't marked with a number, it means the first box is assumed to be the 1st fret. If the first box has a 5 Hz, it means the first section now starts at the 5th fret. That means these 3 frets are the 5th, 6th, and 7th. If the number 7 is marked, that means these 3 frets are the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And let's look at this diagram. The first number shows the 7th fret. T. Here is also an arrow, showing a bar across all 6 strings, and choosing index finger. So we place our index finger on the 7th fret. If you can't find it right away, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hook. The 7th. For the second step, you'll see a number 2. The number 2 means using your left hand second finger, the middle finger, press down on the 8th fret of the 3rd string, since it shows the 7. The numbering starts at the 7th fret, so this is actually the 8th fret. Here is also number 3. That means pressing the 9th fret of the 5th string with your 3rd finger. The number 4 means using your pinky to press the 9th fret of the 4th string. When you play these notes on the 7th, 8th, and 9th frets, you are playing a B chord. Okay, this is another way to mark chord diagrams. Under here is one last way to mark chord diagrams. This one is a bit different too. Let's look at this bum chord. As we mentioned earlier, chord diagrams usually show just 3 frets. No numbers mean frets 1, 2, and 3. Numbers mean the frets are shifted up. Look at this chord diagram. It shows 4 frets. You can count them carefully. Frets 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you see a chord diagram, make sure to check carefully if it's 3 or 4 frets. This video uses that notation too. Take a look at this. The 6th string is marked with an X. Remember we draw. Oh Harry, an X means don't play that string. Look, here is also an arrow. The arrow goes from the 5th string to the 1st. Then, here is a number 1, meaning you bear with your index finger. And this arrow, it's marked on the 2nd fret. You can see the 1st fret is empty. It's a blank fret. Speed, pressing from the 2nd fret. Oka, after pressing finger 2, is on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. You can count this. The 1st fret is empty. The 2nd fret is barred. So finger 2 presses on the 3rd fret. Okay, finger 3 presses the 4th string, 4th fret. Finger 4, the pinky presses the 3rd string, 4th fret. If you follow the chord diagram exactly, this is how we play our bar chord. The 6th string isn't pressed. Don't play those strings. Take the bum chord. A lot of students, and many teachers tell them to bar the whole neck. Hold down the entire fretboard. But it really doesn't matter. The purpose of chord diagrams help us understand. There are chord diagrams with 4 frets. Okay, that's a summary of the guitar chord. Diagram notation methods. So far, we've covered how to read different chord diagrams. We also learned that in guitar tablature, the 6 horizontal lines, the numbers stand for frets. Now let's take a look at the picture below. In this picture, we have the C chord, the M chord, the F chord, and the G chord. We already know how to read these chord diagrams. Below the chord diagrams, there are 6 lines with some X marks on them. These X marks mean you don't play those strings. Just play the strings marked with X's. First finger the C chord. The X's mark, pattern 53,231,323, marked on the strings. This means we play while holding the C chord. Play pattern 53,231,323. The second bar is the M chord. Just hold the M chord as shown. The X's show the 53,231,323 pattern. At the end, 1 is added to 23. See, our marks are 1 and 2. Here, play them at the same time. That means playing the 2nd and 1st strings together. Okay, let me show you. what playing together means. The third bar is in the F chord. Hold the F chord, then strum. Look, another set played together. That's the fourth and first strings played together. Of course, you don't have to follow me when I change chords. We haven't learned these chords yet. I'm just showing you how to read and play these chord diagrams. The last bar is a G chord. We just need to play according to the G chord diagram. Position fingers correctly, then pluck the strings numbered 6, 3, 2, and 3. Then play strings 6 and 1 together with 6, 3, 2, and 3. That's all. That covers all the songs in this lesson. They all use this style of chord diagrams, so we should already be comfortable with reading these chord diagrams and tablature. Now, let's turn to page 32 in our book. Yuna, we cover the arpeggio tom. Now, on page 32, let's check out strumming. When it comes to strumming, besides the left hand's chord diagrams, the right hand perches on the arrows. So how do we interpret these arrows? It's really simple. Let's look at the first arrow. What direction is this arrow pointing? Is it pointing to the first string or the sixth? You can tell. It points to the first string, which is the thinnest string. It means we start from the thick strings, strum toward the thinnest strings. That means following the markings. It starts around the fourth string, then strum down to the first string. Let's take a look. Make sure to hold the C chord while strumming. Each measure is notes. This measure is all C chord. If the arrow points to the first string, that means we strum down. The first string is at the bottom. When holding the guitar, the first string is at the bottom. The sixth string is on top. So an arrow pointing toward the first string means you strum downward. The second arrow points from the first string up to the fourth. That means you should strum upward. Because, like I said, the first string is at the bottom. If you strum from first to fourth string, that's definitely an upward strum. The main pattern goes down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now look, the vertical line here is called a bar line. This vertical line is the bar line. It divides the music into separate measures. We'll explain these in more detail later. Okay, that's how you read the strumming chart. Let's take a look at the last measure. It's the measure with the F chord. This arrow points to strings 6, 5, and 4. It's different from before. It means we're strumming the bass strings. Downstroke. The first note is a downstroke, counting from string 6 down to 4. That means we play the F chord. Strum strings 6, 5, and 4. The second arrow points up, meaning from the 4th to the 6th string. For this one, Hamlet. You strum upward across strings 4, 5, and 6. Cut it all together, and you get the sound you want. Actually, when we learn strumming in this course, we'll explain everything in detail, showing you how to strum and break it down. But this lesson just covers how to read these tabs. I am sure after this lesson, you'll definitely understand how to read these 6-string tabs. Rebed, open page 33 of our book again. That's the new scale for the next lesson. I am sure you can already understand it. If you don't get it, that's okay. You can go over this lesson and rewatch it again, or you can go straight to the next lesson. Lesson 6, natural minor bar in the natural minor scale, besides showing you. I'll also teach you how to play the Do Re Mi scale. I'll also explain how to read this score.